Hey everybody, Johnny B. Good here. Greetings from Rock Springs, Wyoming. Alright, the local time here is 1:13. Temperature is about 79 degrees. Once again, today it is Friday, September 11, 2015. We are down to 5 hours and 44 minutes are available driving, and I apologize, I was not able to do the filming of the fuel, but I did get fuel. Also did the shower, got me some breakfast, and I was really hungry. I was a little bit in a hurry and really hungry, so that's why I did not film it. As I said, we have 5 hours and 44 minutes available to drive, and it should put us somewhere around Cedar City, Utah. Alright, somebody sent me a Facebook private message, and supposedly a couple of family members has gone home with the Lord, and the comment was, I couldn't believe that God would do that to me. Well, look, death is, first of all, we have a God that's sovereign of all things. He is the King of all things. His ways are above ours. There's no way for us to comprehend His ways. And He's a sovereign God. He does what He wills. Second point, we all die. Everybody dies. There is no good time to die, right? I mean, and I'm not picking on you, and I'm kind of sharing this with everyone. It's kind of a good topic for everybody, I think, and something for me to explore myself and learn. I mean, the idea of why would God take them away from me is, if you really think about it, is kind of, I don't know. I hate to use the word ridiculous because I don't want to be offensive, but yet, when is a good time for God to take our family members? Right? Now, one would say, well, He could have taken me first. Well, then your family members would have to be the one to suffer the pain. That's, yeah, I don't think there's any good day to die, unless maybe you're in such horrible pain and that there's absolutely no more hope humanly possible for curing some disease or some horrible, horrific, painful ailment and all that stuff. But there is no good time for any of our family members to die. I mean, it's just like, you can't say, okay, well, you could take him now, I'm ready. I don't think it really works that way. Second, if your family members were believers and that they truly belong to the Lord Jesus Christ, and you know without a doubt that they're in heaven, wouldn't you be happy about that? I mean, wouldn't you be overjoyed knowing that your family member is with the Lord with eternal joy, everlasting peace? I mean, I'm not belittling the fact that it does hurt, but of course it's gonna hurt. But at the same time, be comforted to know that your family members are with the Lord. But if your family member or somebody you know is not with the Lord and they died, yeah, I guess it's time to grieve. And yet, we still had to reconcile that we're just in it for the ride. You know, we don't control anything. Of course, we are responsible for our own actions, but in the overall scheme of things, we don't control history. We don't control when we die. And for those of you who don't believe this message, well, this message is not for you. So don't worry about it. But you could learn. You could come and stop and think about it. You know, sometimes the Lord takes our family members because we're not done. He's not done with us in this world. There are certain things that we have to accomplish, certain things we have to learn, certain maturity that we have to reach. And I guess we all have to somehow ask the Lord, ourselves and the Lord, this question: why am I still here? You know, there's nothing in this earth, absolutely nothing and no one, that would make me want to stay here a second longer. If the Lord chooses to bring me home and gives me a choice, I'd leave this earth on the heartbeat. And it's, you know, throughout history, stories after stories, that the Lord has taken family members to break them, to bring them in so much sorrow that they have given their heart to Christ. Because of that brokenness, they have confessed it. They have asked the Lord's forgiveness and strength. One story that I can recall is the story of Joseph, where his brothers sold him to slavery in Egypt. After all the stories, how he was a slave, he became Potiphar's trusted counselor, ultimately sent back to jail because of Potiphar's wife accused him of rape. Later, another 2 to 3 years he was in prison for absolutely he did nothing wrong. Only to find out that he was the one, he was set up with the Lord to interpret the Pharaoh's, the king's dream. Thus, well, you know their story. Because of Joseph's prophecy or interpretation of the dream, he saved Egypt and the world from 3 years or 7 years of famine, and he became the prime minister of Egypt. He was the highest to Egypt, second to the king. That's how important he was. Later, when the story unfolds, his brothers finally found him, and they asked him to forgive him because they sold him into slavery. And his response was, yeah, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. It was God's will that ordained it. One of my favorite stories in the Bible has got to be, the story of Joseph. So you can see, Terry, you can turn this grief into a blessing. You could turn this bitterness around and give God the glory instead of being bitter, right? Okay, a couple of things I want to say to Laura, Costas Skylids, Ben Williams, Jack Souza Jr., Robert Beal, Jose Pizarro, Matthew Scott Barber, Matthew Soul, Darren Vigil, Scott Coleman, Jeremy Johnson, and many, many more out there. So good afternoon to everybody, and you guys take care. Have a blessed day. Peace.